Hi, Eric. Just one more thing that I wanted to bring up as far as a point to discuss. First of all, we did all the exercises, and this was all done before we did the exercises. But in addition to all the stuff we did on creating angles the other night, doing things to help with making sure that we're maintaining our upper and lower body separation would really be very helpful too, because one of the things that you can see here is this is your GS run, and you are actually doing a much better job up top of having some ankles in here. My video work wasn't very good, but you'll notice the amount of ankle flex that you have right here at this point on this turn. And then again, this is something that happens as speed and sometimes a little steep pitch increase that begins to occur. You can see how much the knees are starting to come in there. And now on this right footer, we'll start to see much less ankle than you had before. And so what we're going to see happen is, and we see it even where you do have some of the ankle flex going in there, but now that you're starting to eliminate it here at this point, you can already see how your leg is rotated, and that's really because your whole upper body, your shoulder and your hips are starting to rotate into this turn here. And so what happens is, when we're not using the front of the ski to help dive us into the turn, and we're getting back and using more and more of the tail, we start relying a lot more on the upper body, at least on this right footer. So I think you can see how rotated the hips are right in here, going in this direction, and the shoulders are going in that direction. And so they're rotating right through here. Hopefully visually you can start to see as they're coming back, they're starting to twist both the hips and the shoulders right here. And so it makes it, that's part of the reason why they may have been talking to you also about, creating angles, even though it looks like you're getting in some very good angles there. It's more in your back rather than really at the hips there. And then we'll come right up to, and the good sign of that is that you are seeing indicators there, even though this is bent forward so much, that you are carrying momentum even off the back of the ski up into this new turn. And what we'll see on the left footer is quite different. Here what you're going to do is make more of a counter move, a big counter move right away, which is back and inside. And so that will end up looking quite a bit different without all the shoulder rotation. That's there, you've rotated, you've just counter rotated rather than rotate it. So we'll go back to the right footer, and again, nothing going on in the ankles. You're going to start using the shoulders here, and then as the hips come back, they're going to try to get into play, and you're really fighting to get through that one. And then we'll notice that there'll be much more of a counter move. Now this asymmetry between your right and left footed turns was not as noticeable back up in the early part of the run, where you were using a little bit of ankle flex. So I think this kind of came into play, this asymmetry between adding the rotation and then the counter rotation, once the ankle motion started to get reduced. Now this turn right here was actually quite a nice turn for you. You timed this thing out quite well. You didn't get overly rotated real fast, and you kind of skied right into this position here, and that right there was a very nice timing job. And you can see already that how much of your momentum you carried right up and forward into that next turn. And then there again, you're already rotating up here at this point, and that's going to make it really tough to get on that ski and work that ski as you're going to be more rotated and banked out into this spot instead of really skiing into a position of counter. There you're kind of throwing that big rotation in. So anyway, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. If we work on getting the ski to do the work, then our body doesn't have to go in with either a big rotation or a counter rotation move. And so, it's kind of a cause-effect relationship, as we can see in what he did there lower on the hill. So hopefully if we can all get out to the hill tonight with the snow, we'll see you in a little bit.